Hey folks, some people have asked about my path into neurosurgery residency, so I thought I could give a brief overview of what that looked like because I did take a little bit of a different path than many do. So in high school, I was not planning to be a doctor, not planning to go to medical school. I was mostly focused on sports and specifically wrestling. That's where a lot of my, goals and self-worth was wrapped up in. So much so that when I went to college, that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to wrestle in college. So I went to a big state school and was a walk-on a wrestling team, and I wrestled for all 5 years of college. I took an extra year, what's called a redshirt year, where you spread your classes over 5 years and get an extra year of NCAA eligibility. And so I was, essentially a wrestling major, but I was also an English major because while I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up, my general plan was to be a high school English teacher and a wrestling coach, which I still think would be a good gig. But at the end of college, while I didn't know what I wanted to do, I felt like it was time to transition out of athletics as the main focus of my life. So like many good English majors, I moved into my mom's basement and shook my fist at the sky for a year. But jokes aside, thank you, Mom, I love you. And so it was during this time that I decided to go to medical school. And while the things that went into that decision, could do a video unto itself, but briefly, medicine aligned with a lot of my values in terms of how I wanted my life to affect those around me. One skill I had developed from a lifetime in athletics was the ability to set long-term goals and spend years working hard to achieve those goals. So the art of delayed gratification. And in medicine and eventually neurosurgery, I really liked that the work that I put in to getting myself better at my job would not just lead to trophies or something for me, but could be translated into helping other people with real tough problems. And that really appealed to me. So I decided to go to medical school. I had not taken any of the prereq requirements to even apply to medical school. So I did what's called a post-bac pre-med program, where I took basically 2 years of undergrad over again, meeting all the requirements to apply to medical school, and spent another year just in the application process. So it was this 3-year transition, and I was lucky enough to get into medical school, and that just opened up an entire new world of possibilities. That's where I discovered neuroscience and neurosurgery and just fell in love with them. So much so that I took an additional year in medical school, a research fellowship, so I spent 5 years there, did some extra neuroscience research before applying and getting into neurosurgery residency. And now I am in the middle of my 6th year of a 7-year residency. Still got a 1.5 years to go, but not a day goes by when I'm not just incredibly grateful for this path, this journey, the decisions, successes and failures that led me here, and I'm very excited for where it's going.